This car sounds freaking insane. Anyway, we'll talk about that in just a bit, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Can I Beat the Retro Pole Lap. This episode is a bit different. This is going to be a Can I Beat the Track record, because as you know, the Korean Grand Prix is no longer a thing in Formula 1. We raced here for 4 years and F1 never returned. You know, it was floated about, it was flirted with up until 2016, but it never once made a comeback. So, 4 years, 2010, 11, 12, 13, it was on the calendar, and the track record, surprisingly, actually was set in the first season in 2010. During that qualifying session, the pole lap achieved by Sebastian Vettel, a 1 minute 35.5 being the best time in those 4 years. Surprisingly, they didn't go quicker in the following years, even with, you know, downfalls and tech developments. Obviously, Pirelli stepped in 2011. Things kind of went a bit south on tyres for a few years, so there were multiple factors. Either way, for this one, I've brought out the big guns. The very best mod money can buy for the 2010 season, the RSS, or Racing Studio, Formula V8 2010. In other words, the Ferrari F10. You can see what car it is. I haven't driven this car yet, and I've been waiting for a long time for an excuse to drive it, and this is that video. Anyway, before we start, little sound test. Anyway, let's get the lap underway, shall we? And let's see what we do. No curves, no DRS, just a good old-fashioned, just race car, driving it flat out. Now, I don't know where my braking points are going to be in this, so we're going to figure this out on the fly. Also, no traction control. We have currently hard tyres on our car, as you can tell by the lack of the green stripe on the edges of the tyre surface. So let's get a lap on the board and let's see what we do. Oh my god, I broke way too early there. And also got a bit too aggressive on the old downshifts as we got the warning light. Right. Let's try and also get some temperature in these tyres because they're freezing cold right now. I'm going to go at the 50-meter board here for this hairpin. A little bit deep, a little bit wide, but that's not terrible. This is where I fear this tyre might struggle. Low speed, mechanical grip. Just don't have any temperature at all, so we're just going to really have to kind of cope with driving on ice, basically. Already flat through there. That one is out of track limits. Although I could probably take a better line. I do love that sequence. You can attack these curbs. They're all reasonably flat, but I'll say that. Instant karma. Right. Let's quickly try that again. Right, let's sort that out. We know if we're going quicker or not up until the spin. Turn 1. Well, that's a lot of inside curb, and that's out of bounds, but that wasn't particularly quick, I'd say. We've got a delta on our wheel dash. You can see, if you maybe watch the video full screen, you might be able to make out what the time difference is. Going to brake at the end of the barrier there on the left. That's where the wall ended, and there was a little escape road. That seemed to work quite well. I want to say we're 4/10 up. Right, let's brake for just before the 50 here. Getting the downshift warning, but no big deal. There's the apex. Let the car wash out wide. Oh, bit of a slide through there. Absolutely nowhere near the apex through the right-hander, but that's okay. Right, back on the gas. Let's try and get this cleaned up. Take this flat out and keep it on the track limits. There we go. Easy flat. A lot tidier this time. Taking this in 5th gear. Right, now easy on the traction here. Rear end still wanting to snap. Now we've got this long left where you want to kind of tuck in late and that way set up the next corner. So we take a little bit of a corner cut there actually. A bit too much front grip. Easy because there's a bit of grass right there on the exit which can catch you out. And now using all of the track here as we go through these last few corners. Little sausage curb to avoid on the inside there. And now this is flat. Trust the downfalls. 135.5 to beat. Up to the line. First lap of the day. 142.4. work to be done. Now for this one, we're going to make a few adjustments. We'll throw some mediums on to start. Pressure's already pretty low, so tyre temp could be an issue. Fuel, interestingly, we've got a few engine map modes. We're already in max power, so we'll leave it as such, but we will shorten the fuel and go half, so 25, to get a bit more of an idea. Aero's interesting. I do actually quite like how it feels, so I'm going to leave that as is for now. Brake bias, also I like how it feels. I might go a click rearward and hopefully not lock the rears too much. Differential coast, we'll pop that to 25 to get a bit more rotation, and then we'll quickly have a browse. Maybe some ride heights could be the way to go. We'll drop the front by 1 and we'll drop the rear by 2. I think everything else, there's quite a lot of detail here. Roll bars as well. I think this is going to take a bit of work and a bit of time. So for now, we're going to run with this and see how it feels. Right then, let's get to it. Medium tyres, setup changes. Let's see if we can find a bit of time. Also just push a bit more generally throughout the lap. Turn 1, here we go. That's better. Last time got a little bit too much inside curve back end every time there wants to snap away on the exit. To be fair, we didn't really adjust the gear ratios, which we could look at in a bit. Anyway, down towards the next hairpin. I think that wall on the left is a perfect braking point. I've just got to brake with a bit more confidence and not be so hesitant on the way in. Right then, 50-meter wall on the left. Downshift warning, try and turn in a bit late to get a late apex. And now just through here, keep it a bit tidier. So don't go too mad with trying to throw the car in and get direction change. There we go. A second up right now. Let the car downforce work through here. That was nice. A bit of a lock up on the way in. Exit was good. Found half a second through there. Try and run a bit of a tighter line through this. And just carry a bit more speed, less of a corner cut. That's a lot better. That's a bit wide. That's not going to help. I'm wanting to downshift just really aggressively here, but the car doesn't want to do it. So we've got to be careful. That's a bit aggressive on that sausage curve on the inside. Last corner. Up to the line, and it's going to be just about 2 seconds quicker. 140.4, so we're within 5 seconds now, but still a long way off. But there's more work to be done. 7th gear isn't really being maxed out. Now, to be fair, I will say that back straight we have to consider. I'm going to shorten the ratio by 1, which gives us 6 less kph top speed, but hopefully we'll hit 7th gear more frequently. And I'm able to run some higher gears at different points. We're going to go for the soft tyres, so now we're talking serious business. Fuel, we're going to go 15 litres. We'll leave a little bit up our sleeve in case we need to find a bit more time. Aero, this is where it could be interesting. I'm going to go down a click on each. With the extra tyre grip and a bit less fuel, we should gain a bit on the straights and also in the corners. Possibly could go 16, 15, but we'll go for double 15 for now. Brakes, I'm happy with how that felt. I might leave this unchanged, to be fair. Drivetrain, I might knock the coast to 22 for a bit more mid-turn. And then everything else, again, we'll leave as is, bar the ride height, because the track's fairly flat. So I feel like we can maybe push this down a bit and get a bit more out of the ride height, especially the rear. We'll go down to 12 and see how that feels. I'm realizing throttle control is a real art in this car. You really have to be precise with it, so hopefully we'll get better. Anyway, we know what we have to improve on. Also, we should just find pace everywhere. I've actually decided to go forward on the brake bias. We're going to go back to 54. I was locking the rears on the out lap, so here we go. Turn 1, nicely done. Not too much inside curb, decent exit. And now we'll let the lower wings and the gearbox help us out as we're going to max out. Down towards turn 3. Not bad. Could have done a little bit better with the braking, but we're still 2/10 up. Let's try and get this sorted out here. Going in a bit earlier this time at the apex to see if I can find a bit of grip. Also just trying to carry a bit more speed through here. I feel like I'm a little bit passive in the low speed stuff. Staying off that exit curb, trying to find a bit more traction. Car's going to fly through here. Up to 7th way earlier. Same here, avoid the curb on the exit. 3/10 up for now. It's not exactly the improvement that I hoped for, but I think the majority of the time is here, but that's again a bit of a mistake. Still just carrying that 3/10 margin, not exactly flying here. We'll open up the line. That's better through there. Got a better exit. Carrying more speed right at the end of the lap there. Found half a second. So we'll shave off almost another second, but not exactly anywhere near the 1:35.5 from Sebastian Vettel in the Red Bull. And we're running out of options. Now at this point, we're going to get creative, so we'll go for super softs. I will go for the lowest pressures on the front to get more front temperature. I feel like that might be worth a go. We'll run single lap fuel, so 10 litres. On the wings, I'm going to go back up. Actually, I'll split them. I'll go up one on the front and leave the rear the same to get more front end. And just basically resend it for the corners. We'll go back up on the brake bias, as mentioned. I'll also keep the drivetrain the same. And now we kind of have to scratch our head a little bit and dabble with the real intricacies of the setup here. So I'll figure out configuration and see how it feels. Right, we need to really find some time now. We've gone purple in the middle sector on the outlap, so that's a good sign. Car feels nervous, but if I get it together, put it together, we could be quick. So, here we go. Turn 1. A little bit wide out track limits. Third gear though seems to feel better than second to me. Right, now we take a breather. Let's try and be confident in this hairpin. That was nice. Gaining time on the exit. Lost a little bit on the entry though. Still a bit passive. And now for the slow stuff. Trying to open up this right-hander and now open up the left-hander a bit more as well to get a better exit. That's not bad. Gained 4/10. Back end a bit nervous. Right, full send through here. Oh, that's a bit deep. Bit out of shape. And that's a hit. Well, I'll say this. If I don't get this correction and get this lap on the board, we're going to go into full sweat mode, so you won't see me until I get my best attempt, or you might see a few mistakes. But we have to kind of get this lap now, so let's get stuck in. Took a while to get the throttle up there on the exit. Not exactly ideal, but let's stick with it. Obviously track limits weren't a thing back in 2010, so we could try and abuse that a bit. Bit of rear lock in there, but that was actually my best turn 3 hairpin of the day so far. Purple mini sector confirms it. This is where I think the bulk of the time loss is, but that's just a bit of a lack of grip, unfortunately, compared to maybe what the real lap was. Trying third gear on the exit there. I'm not sure if that was good or bad, but just experimenting. There is a bit of time through those 3 slow corners. We'll keep it in third through here as well. Just seems to be working better at certain points in terms of traction. A little bit overly wide, front right getting a bit hot. Let's see if I can try and nail this section for once, which we've been struggling to do all day long. So far, so good. Slight correction there, but generally, much better. Oh my god, nice big time gain as well. That's encouraging. Over the line, 1:37.9. Oof, nice. Gained a couple of seconds. Finally put a lap together. Obviously still a long way off a 1:35.5, but baby steps. That's encouraging though. Very happy with that. I'll keep making tweaks and seeing what I can find. Now I've just found something which I remember from installing the car. These 2010 machines had an F-Duct, which essentially was a precursor for, you know, DRS, basically a trick to gain straight line speed, where the drivers would take the hand off the wheel and air would pass through the cockpit, and it'd be a bit of a trick to gain more straight line speed efficiency. So, with that in mind, I wonder if we'll gain a bit of time throughout the lap, and that might just mean we have to make a gearbox adjustment. So if I do this, there it is, the hand comes off the wheel, but we have to manually put it back on. It doesn't act like DRS where, you know, if you brake it shuts. But you can see, there it is. I'm going to watch the delta, and we are gaining some speed. And we're going to top out early. Right, okay. So, maybe there is a bit of time in this. Watch their space. Now this is the gearbox that I had, so I went down by 1 on the final gear ratio, so we'll go back up by 1, and I'm going to add an extra click on the 7th gear, and that should hopefully give us what we want. Oh yes, 37.2. There's a bit of time, and for the sake of the video, recreating the hand posture, I'm actually taking my hand off the wheel to kind of add to the simulation challenge of it. That could be the lap. I think if I get a sub 37, I've done well. So that's what we're going to try and aim for. Wow. Didn't go quicker. Interesting. 37.6. Yeah, I think if we get 36, I'll be happy. That was a bit of a costly error. Still keeping it rolling, but I was a decent lap up until that point. I'm loving the F-Duct challenge though. I think we'll improve. 0.2. 37.0. It was there. That mistake cost us. Right, we can do this. Whew, 1:36.6. Brilliant lap. Perfect lap. Not a single mistake on that one. That was brilliant all the way through. I still think there's a bit of time in the triple slow hairpins, especially on the exit, but the curbs are a little bit inconsistent, but I'll take that. 1.1 seconds away, good recovery. Now this is the final setup I went for. I won't explain everything in super detail, just copy and paste it and try it for yourself. But we got optimal gear ratios. I went for minimum rear tire pressure in the end. So default pressures, but with super soft tires, 10 litres of fuel, max engine power. I actually went up on the wing a little bit because on the brakes, you could actually cover the brake ducts and gain a bit of straight line speed. So I kind of done a bit of a compromise. I also went up to 55 brake bars as well to put the car more on the front. Drivetrain, differential coast on 20, and then on the suspension, I basically went very aggressively on camber and toe compared to default. Brought basically the front end of the car into the negative and the rear end over to the positive. Then elsewhere, I brought the ride heights down a lot compared to the original ones. Also the wheel rates, just trying to basically make the car really just push because the track's very flat with flat curbs. You want to basically push it. Roll bars, I went actually back up to default. I went quite low, then quite high. I went back to original because again, the curbs, you can basically run a pretty hard suspension and just kind of, bash over them and it's not going to react in a bad way. Dampers default and heave also unchanged except for wheel rate, which I actually dropped a little bit for a bit more rotation. Other than that, that's it. Literally no more changes. Anyway guys, hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, smash the like button. I really enjoyed that. It's actually one of the most enjoyable episodes I've done in a long time. I had to really sweat it, and the extra challenge of the F-Duct was epic. So if you want to see more like this, guys, subscribe. Other tracks maybe you want to see me try and do this with from 2010, and we can use this car. As always, mods linked down below for the circuit and the car, so go check those out. Also, a massive shout out to the members for supporting the channel, guys. If you're new or if you're a current subscriber, notifications on, guys. They make a huge difference. Also, I have my Discord server for uploads when they get posted if you guys do miss them. So go join, and all that is linked down below in my link tree. Anyway, guys, cheers for watching. Always check out the 2 videos on screen as there's more content you might enjoy from the channel, more like this. And there you guys, I'll see you soon. Take care, and let's go out from me. Ciao.